Hey, welcome to another episode of the Rock Fantasy Files. I look a little crazy today. I didn't even comb my hair for this one. So, and we're here with Brody Uttley from Rivers of Nihil, and we're here to talk about the brand new Rivers of Nihil album. They're releasing their fourth full-length album, The Work, via Metal Blade Records on September 24th. And welcome, Brody. Where are you joining us from today?
We're actually in Douglasville, Pennsylvania right now. We just got done with practice. We've been rehearsing for like the last 2 weeks, and today's the second to last day. Maybe actually the last day, because we're about to get hit with what's left over from the hurricane tomorrow. Yes. So we don't know if we're gonna chance it in the basement tomorrow or not, because where we practice is kind of prone to flooding, so we'll see. But anyway, yeah, just got done with band practice.
Yeah, they were actually saying like 5 to 8 inches of rain coming up through, and even to the northeast here, where I'm in Middletown, New York, so I'm not too far from you guys. I'm real familiar with your area from writing PA, actually. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but what can you tell us about the new album, and how does it differ from 2018's Where Owls Know My Name?
Yeah, I mean, it's different in, pretty much every way. I mean, it's the longest record that we've ever written. It's probably like the most adventurous record sonically. It goes through like a lot of different palettes of sound, a lot of different kind of styles, that we're kind of, experimenting with, I guess. And we're still at our core, we're still a death metal band, but we've kind of branched out, into the further reaching borders, I guess, of what would be allowed for the genre. But yeah, it's it's 11 tracks, a lot of different, like I said, experimentation on this one, a lot of real crazy production, whether it's field recordings or just like atmospheric walls of ambient guitars, like really sorry, I heard a door knocking. Really like just experimenting with with like new sounds on this one, while kind of retaining our classic kind of elements that make us who we are. I mean, we're always going to bring out the ripping, guitar riffs and, crazy drums and all that stuff. But I think on this one, we definitely kind of branched out a little more and tried some new things.
You want to go over some of the tracks on the album while we're here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first track's called The Tower. That's kind of like an intro to the record, really, like something that might roll during the credit or the opening credits of a movie, kind of, kind of starts off the record, starts slow. It's got a big piano piece that kind of like drives that whole song. Then we go into Dreaming Black Clockwork, which is like a real, probably the most, it's probably like the nastiest sounding song on the record. It's just like, crushing guitar riffs, slower pace kind of, but like obnoxiously heavy. And, that song kind of ends with this crazy wall of noise and feedback. Then we go into a song called Wait, which is, almost like kind of like a throwback, like shoegaze 90s song, something like maybe the Smashing Pumpkins or something would have, done. And then Focus, which, everyone's heard already. We just put that out last week, which is kind of like, it's a little more of a groove oriented song for us that kind of relies on like weird, auxiliary percussion and like strange sounds. And then Clean, which everyone's heard already, obviously. Big middle section in that song with synthesizers and, guitar solos. The Void from Which No Sound Escapes, that song will be coming out right before the album comes out. And that one's got, I can't really give up too much about that one, but that one will probably end up being, a favorite. I would think it's got a lot of, what people love about our band in it, I think. And and then we go to Tower 2, which is kind of just like a part 2 of the opening track. Episode, which is like a just like another like crushingly heavy kind of weird slower progressive kind of song, but it's got like a big industrial tinge to it. Maybe One Day, the 10th song, that's like that's a completely acoustic song for the most part. So it's that one was a big, you know, experiment for us, and yeah, I'm stoked on how that turned out. And then the final song on the record is Terrestria 4, which is the longest song that we've ever written, you know, as a band, and you know, one of the craziest tunes I think that we've ever had. So I think it'll be a real, you know, that'll be a real like favorite of the nerds who have been paying attention to, you know, our first 3 records, because that one kind of like, you know, ties everything up real nicely. But yeah, that's a quick rundown, I guess, of the whole record.
Who does all the songwriting?
Me, pretty much.
Okay.
I do, yeah, I mean, with the exception of the second song on the record, that song our bass player and I wrote together, but every other song on the record was just me. Yeah, my home studio, just you know, working songs out. And I mean, of course, everybody, you know, they add their own touches to it. Like I don't write anyone's drum parts or bass parts or anything like that. Just kind of like, you know, sketch out rough ideas on the drums and then let our drummer take over. And I don't do anything with vocals or lyrics. So even though I write like the majority of the music, like it still very much is like a collaborative kind of thing. So it's just, you know, can't really get together as much as we used to, and like everybody lives, you know, in different parts of the country, and now with all
okay,
yeah, you know, it's like all the COVID stuff and whatever, like it's gotten more difficult to get everyone together. So it's just kind of like, you know, how it is now, you know, having to write remotely like that. But you know, we're used to it at this point, and it's just like, yeah, we're just, you know, familiar with the process by now, I guess.
I hear that with a lot of bands I interview this year, you know, a lot of European bands, even bands from Brazil, where they're just all over the world, like, you know, and working on new albums. So it's very interesting to talk to some of the bands and how they put that together. What is the current band lineup, and where's everybody at?
Well, our other guitar player is John Tapor. He's from Long Island, actually.
Okay.
Mineola. So they're actually leaving right now. I don't know if you can hear the dogs barking, but they're leaving. But John's from Long Island. Adam, our bass player, he's originally from Reading, but he moved to Richmond last year. Our vocalist Jake, he's from Reading. I'm also from Reading.
Okay.
And then our drummer Jared is from Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
So he's long distance. way out there. Yeah. So he's really the guy that throws the stick in the stew, I guess, like as far as like for people being too far to drive to band practice if we had to have one. So, but we love him and he's great. So we put up with it.
Cool. A little history of the band for viewers that are unfamiliar and never heard of Rivers of Nihil before. Let's go back and see where you guys started and how this is the 4th album, as we explained earlier.
Yeah. We formed in 2009. 2 bands that kind of fell apart in the Reading area. We were all friends with each other from just playing shows together. Our bass player Adam and I were in a thrash band together called Dission, Dissian. I don't even know if the songs are on YouTube still, but it's like, yeah, it was kind of like during the time when like the big thrash resurgence was going on around like 07, 08, very much like that. But that band fell apart. And then there was a band that our vocalist Jake and then our original guitarist John and our original drummer Ron, they were in a band that was kind of more of like a grindy, death metal kind of band. And that band broke up, and then we just basically we just like formed Rivers. The 3 of them, Jake, our original drummer and our original guitarist, started jamming, and then they asked Adam, our bass player, to play bass on a new song that they were releasing, which would go on to be a song that was actually on our first full length with Metal Blade, called Human Adaptation. So he played bass on the original Rivers demos. And then like I just came in because I had always wanted to play with those guys, just I knew that they were like real talented dudes, but we never ended up in the same band. So we decided to do it, and yeah, formed the band in 2009, recorded our first EP and released it in 2010. Did another EP in 2011, did a lot of regional touring on like the East Coast and the Midwest, and up north. And yeah, did a lot of DIY touring until about 2012 when we signed with Metal Blade. Then we went down to Clearwater, Florida, to record our first full length with Eric Rutan,
Awesome.
who of Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Code Horse fame. So yeah, he was really influential guy in getting us in touch with Metal Blade. And Rutan actually contacted us back in like 2010 on MySpace, believe it or not. He sent us a message and he was like, hey, I really like, I like what you guys are doing. I'd love to make a record with you guys one day. And we went out and like demoed out some new material that we were working on and sent it to him. And unfortunately, we kind of rushed it and it sounded terrible. So when we sent it to him, we could tell that he was kind of like, stay in touch, So, we, kept grinding it out for the next year or two. And then eventually, yeah, we like did another EP and, got a manager, and between our management and Rutan, and everything, like we got linked up with Metal Blade, and then, did our first record with him. And then in did a bunch of touring, national touring. And then we, did our second record, Monarchy, in 2015, with Carson Slovak and Grant McFarland, who have done, all of our records since then. And then, yeah, more touring. We went to Europe for the first time in 2016. And did our, Where Owls Know My Name in 2018. And, just lots of touring and yeah. And, on Owls, we went to Australia and, Europe and New Zealand and, a bunch of places, did a lot of successful headlining gigs. And then, and then we closed out the Where Owls Know My Name cycle in February of 2020. And then the world shut down. And then we wrote this, and then we did this record basically. So that's pretty much it.
So I see you have a North American tour planned very soon.
Yeah.
Is that still happening with Black Dahlia Murder? Oh, good, good stuff. So you must be, and you're making some stops up in our area, which is kind of not too far from you either. It's Starland Ballroom in Irving Plaza in October. It must be exciting to get back on the road and do what you guys are used to doing. Let's chat a little bit about the tour. Who else is on that tour, and what else can you talk about on that?
Yeah, so it's the Black Dahlia Murder. They're headlining, and then After the Burial, Carnifex. Us, and then Undeath is the first band on the package. So yeah, we're we've been practicing for like the last 2 weeks, getting ready for this tour, and kind of dusting off the old machine, getting everything nice and greased up and tight sounding, and working on these new songs. So yeah, we've just been we're ready to go back out there and do what we do, and hope everybody stays healthy and safe. And we're going to do everything we can to make every show and and make it happen, because we're it's been about 17 months since we played a show. So I mean, so it'll be quite the event on the first one, which starts in Chicago, which will be cool, because Chicago is always like a really great city for us, because we just have a ton of friends out there. Nice. And it's just a fun spot to play. So the first show of that tour is actually this Friday.
So you're ready to rock and roll. We're taping this on a Tuesday, so you guys are ready to hit the road on Friday already. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's coming up. So we're leaving on Thursday to do the 13-hour drive out to House of Blues in Chicago. So we don't have to stress too much. We want to leave enough time to get there.
Of course, right? Waiting through a hurricane here and ready to go out on tour. And after the burial, or also part of that, we spoke a little off camera before we got started. You were part of the Summer Slaughter tour a couple summers ago. I should have made notes of what year that was, but I believe After the Burial was also on that tour, would you?
I think that was a different year actually.
Was it different? Okay, maybe I've
Yeah,
got it mixed up.
we did 2019. That was the year with Cattle Decapitation
Oh, okay.
headlining. And Carnifex was on that one, and so we've toured with Carnifex so many times. They're just
Okay.
like, old buddies at this point, so it's going to be cool to see everyone. We know some of the Black Dahlia guys. They're all great dudes, and some of the After Burial guys we know. But I don't think we've ever hung with the Undeath guys, but everyone's seems very nice, that I've met virtually. So it should be a real chill tour, with good moods everywhere, hopefully. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I have pandemic brains, and not everything was like working in the brain still from this last year and a half of whatever the hell we're living through. But yeah, I do remember. I thought I remember catching you guys at the Chance. Maybe it was on a different tour, but I did watch the videos for the songs we mentioned earlier when we were describing the new album, The Clean and Focus, earlier today. And you want to talk a little bit about filming of those? Where did you film those locally?
Yeah. So the Clean video was filmed up in the Poconos,
Oh, wow.
Pocono Mountains. Yeah. We found a farm retreat that had all these like really cool, like kind of frontiery like cabins on the property, and we figured that it would tie in nicely with the album artwork and stuff and the visuals from that. So we rented that out for a weekend and shot a bunch of videos up there, bunch of video content up there. So yeah, that was up in the Poconos. We filmed that over the winter. That was like one of the coldest outings I think we've ever had. It wasn't climate controlled while we were up there, and I'm pretty sure we were filming in like late February, so it was freezing. But then we filmed the Focus video actually fairly recently. They turned that around pretty quick.
Okay.
We shot that also kind of up in the Poconos, in the mountains. Wow. Yeah, we filmed it up past Pottsville, or not Pottsville, up past, it was like up past like Hamburg kind of, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, it was another one. It was like in the hills of Pennsylvania, basically.
Yeah.
And we filmed that at a decrepit kind of abandoned community center that was used. It had like a theater in it.
Oh, wow.
And there was this emptied out swimming pool that we ended up shooting the Focus video in, because we had the bathtub and all that oil.
Yeah, the bloody bathtub. Yes.
Yeah. So we filmed that there. We actually filmed another music video at that same spot in another part of the building that hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
But people will be stoked on that one, and that one will be for The Void from Which No Sound Escapes, which should be coming out right before release. Nice. But yeah, it was cool. Filmed the Focus video with Dave Brodsky. He's done pretty much all of our videos up till this point. He did the Where Owls Know My Name video. He did the Silent Life video. He did the Sand Baptism video. He did the Mechanical Trees video. He did the A Home video. So he's done most of our videos. And then for Clean, the video for Clean, we went with my friend Mike Trueheart, who's newer to the scene. But I think he's, insanely talented and did an awesome job on the Clean video. So he came in and did the video for Clean, as well as some other stuff that still hasn't come out yet. So glad we could get him in and kind of, highlight some of his talents, because he really nailed the vibe, I think, and we're stoked on everything that he's been doing for us.
So you guys are, technically, like, technical death metal is described. I don't know. I hear a lot of different music coming out of your band. Just from me, just listening to it last couple of days, know I was going to do this interview with you. I hear some prog in there at times too. In fact, I was looking at some of the comments on one of your videos where someone was talking like a Pink Floyd part.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, we all grew up listening to that stuff. I mean,
yeah,
my dad, he raised me on, Pink Floyd and the Moody Blues and King Crimson and Yes and
yeah,
Led Zeppelin and,
sure,
all that stuff. So, I mean, that's, a huge part of my musical DNA.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as like, what I would really consider us to be, like, I don't really even know. I always just call us like a weird metal band, or like a weird death metal band, we just like kind of do our thing. And, it's a little different, and that's really all we've ever wanted, was just to be like the fucking weirdos,
I can also hear some hints of like European and stuff, like with Insomnium and Swallow the Sun at times. I don't know, it could have been just how the videos were, like the video for like Clean was shot, and it just reminded me of Insomnium in ways too. But I find it very interesting, and I wish you guys all the luck in the world, especially with this tour and going out on the road with all this, and the pandemic is still going on, and you hear bands. Gene Simmons, I just heard today, has got COVID, and Paul Stanley, and it just seems like it's just never relenting, this virus. But we definitely need some stuff like the Black Dahlia Murder and bands like you guys to be on the road to lift everyone's spirits right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bands that are, touring successfully without issue.
Sure,
it's just,
sure.
you just end up hearing about the ones that have to cancel. I mean,
Yeah.
Deicide just wrapped up a month-long tour.
They did the whole tour, correct? Yeah, they got
they
through
did
it.
the whole thing. I mean, Between the Buried and Me has been out for quite a while now. Megadeth and Lamb of God, that tour's been going on for a while.
That's true. That's coming in this area soon. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, tours are happening. It's just it definitely does seem, bleak when you look at the music news right now. But I mean, I know of a lot of people that are out there touring right now, and things are going great. So really
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, really all we can do is keep, just be mindful and try to stay healthy, and I mean, do what we can and hope for the best.
Of course, yeah. The Deicide tour, making it all the way around, was very promising. I thought that was, and especially it was in a smaller club setting too, and not a big arena and stuff. Like a lot of the bands you hear are the big arena bands that are having a lot of issues. But yeah, I see you're from Reading, PA. I spent a lot of time in that area. I actually worked in the old Fairgrounds Mall a long time ago.
No way, really?
I was down there. I'm in the racing scene, so I was down there promoting like something to do, because they used to have a fairgrounds there in Reading. You're maybe too young to remember that, but before the mall, there was a dirt track there, and we were doing something there. I remember working there for like 10 days. My cousin used to work in Reading, so yeah, I used to buy a lot of pinball machines from a distributor there. So and I used to always. What's the metal scene like in Reading? I wouldn't even.
I mean, it's like I got to be honest with you, like the venue that we always used to play at, the Silo, which it's not, it hasn't been open for about 10 years now. That was like when we still played a lot of like local shows, was when the Silo was still open. So that's when I was really able to like see what was going on in the scene. But now the only venue around here is Reverb.
Reverb. I've heard of that too. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, the only spot now is Reverb, and like usually the only shows that like we end up playing there are when we're on a tour. So like we really haven't been doing a whole lot of shows locally for a couple of years now, just because, like if we are playing here, it's like while we're on a tour. But I mean, there's killer bands from around here. I mean, there's they're not from Reading, but they're kind of local to us, and their sax player and bass player plays for us. They're called Burial in the Sky. They're a really cool progressive death metal band. They recorded their record with Carson and Grant, the same guys who did our record, and the same guy who played sax for us plays sax for them. And so they're pretty cool. And there's a lot of bands, kind of like not necessarily like directly from Reading, but like in the general area. I mean, like you have, Nothing from Philadelphia, Jesus Piece from Philadelphia. Those are more like kind of like hardcore and I guess like I don't even know what you would classify Nothing as, more like a weird rock band. But yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since we've like done like a lot of local stuff here, just because it seemed like after the silo closed down, things just kind of got a little stale with like shows because there's just nowhere to have them around here.
I mean, you're not too far from Allentown, PA. What's that? Back in the day, I used to be Croc Rock was a place I used to go a lot.
We played a lot of shows at the Croc Rock. We played a lot of shows at the Sterling Hotel.
Okay, I remember that too. Yeah.
Yeah, we played my old band that I was in with our bass player. We played a bazillion shows there, like the Bizarre Entertainment that like did all the shows there. We played like a gajillion shows with them. But yeah, the Croc Rock is obviously like they're not using that anymore, I don't think.
No,
but
they have,
they have that venue now called One Center Square in I forget where it is. Is it in Easton? I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy that you worked at the fairgrounds though. I mean, I go to the movie theater right by there, and the band always used to go to Infinito's, the pizza buffet that's right there, like right off the Fifth Street Highway.
There was like a Chuck E. Cheese's or something there.
Yeah, it's not quite as magnificent as I'm sure it once was. Like that mall is pretty much like completely closed down now.
That's what someone told me, that mall was shut. Yeah.
You can look it up on YouTube. Like I'm pretty sure like it might even like there's like a compilation of like depressing malls around the country, and I'm pretty sure Fairgrounds is on there.
Should have kept the fairgrounds, man. Fairgrounds is awesome. I'm old enough to remember going to the races and stuff there. But yeah, good luck with everything on the road. And we probably wrap this up. We've got about 2 minutes left, and we'll put all the links to the website and everything in. So, people that haven't heard the band, please go out and listen to these guys. I think you're going to like them, and go out and support the band on this tour. Or even if you can't make the tour, this album's going to come out, and it's going to be LP, right? You're going to vinyl. You got compact disc, and of course virtual. And is there different styles of vinyl coming out for this? Or?
Yeah, we got a bunch of different vinyl variants. People can check those all out on our website, riversofnihil.com. We have all the worldwide merch stores for wherever you're from, so you can get stuff, shipped to you for not a bazillion dollars.
Where did you come up with the name Rivers of Nihil? Was another one, question I had.
It was just something that our singer came up with. He just thought it sounded kind of bleak and cool, and we just stuck with it. We all hated it when we joined the band, but it just stuck. So here we are 11 years later, same name.
And have you ever toured with Nihil?
No, but although I have we've played with Nihil, and Carl Sanders came up to us after our set and like patted me on the back and was like, you guys are like progressive, but like not like lame. You're like a cool progressive. And I was like, man, if Carl Sanders is patting me on the back and telling me that my band's cool progressive, I'll take that, even though people always, joke about Rivers of Nihil and Nihil. So maybe one day though.
I guess I made the bad joke on you. I'm sorry.
No, it's not a bad joke. It's just, I mean, I think it's funny too, but yeah, no, we never toured with them, but we are Carl Sanders approved as of New England Metal and Hardcore Fest 2018. That's when he said it. He might not like us anymore though, because he hasn't heard the new record yet. So we'll see.
And my last question of the day, an album that changed your life. I ask everyone this question. An
album that changed my life.
Got you into the extreme pharma music, that kind of a
extreme music. Man, I mean, if there's like one that like really switched it for me, it's probably Organic Hallucinosis by Decapitated. That record like showed me that like, metal can be like extreme, but like still really like artful and like, kind of emotional, but like not in like an obvious like, sad way, like, just powerful kind of way. So Decapitated, Organic Hallucinosis, that's probably the one that turned the switch on for me.
Excellent. I got to see Decapitated early in their career. I used to sponsor a lot of shows up at the Chance in Poughkeepsie for my store, and we do our anniversary shows there, and Decapitated was on one of those when they first came into the States. And love that band. They've gone through a lot of hell the last few years, but
they have, man, but they're out there playing shows, again. So
good to hear. And you guys stay safe on the road, and I hope you guys kick ass every night. And I wish I could be at some of these shows. Maybe I can make the Starland show in October. Who knows what happens? But I hope to see you guys in person one day. And please, everyone, if you like the videos, please hit subscribe. We also have a band panel coming out this week on the Mighty Incantation, and we're going to try to keep things going on the Rock Fantasy Files. And all the links for Rivers of Nihil will be in the description. So please go out and support the band, as we said before. And thanks, Brody, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And stay metal.
All right.